Why does the gospel say that Jesus was buried? Why does the gospel say that Jesus was buried? So get Mark 14, verse 12. Mark 14, verse 12. And his disciples came and took up the body and buried it and went and told Jesus. Get with me 1 Corinthians 15, verse 3. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 3. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures. Get Matthew 27, verse 59. Now, what we saw in Mark 14 and 1 Corinthians 15 is that the Lord was buried. That's said multiple times. But compare that to Matthew 27, verse 59. Matthew 27, verse 59. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. So Mark 14, 1 Corinthians 15 say that the Lord was buried. Matthew 27, when you read the details, was the Lord placed into the earth and dirt thrown on top of him? And the answer to that is no, that's not what happened. There was a tomb hewn in the rock, and what they did is they laid the Lord in the tomb on top of the ground, not below ground, but on top of it, and then they rolled the stone in front of it. So the question the person is asking, well, why does Scripture say he was buried? He was entombed, right? I mean, he was placed in a tomb for sure, but why does Scripture say that he was buried? So look with me we're going to look at the 1828, and we'll first look at the word bury. First definition, to deposit a deceased person in the grave, to inter a corpse, to entomb. Now, the first part of that definition, to deposit a deceased person in the grave, that's the traditional understanding of you dig a hole, you deposit the person in there, and then you cover them up with dirt. But that's not the only first sense. Another one is to inter a corpse or to entomb, to place in a tomb. Now, notice with me, what we'll do now is let's look at the word tomb. A tomb is a grave, a pit in which the dead body of a human being is deposited. Well, we're all familiar with that. That's sort of the conventional, that's the most typical way that a body is buried. But look at the second definition. A house or vault formed wholly or partly in the earth with walls and a roof for the reception of the dead. So a tomb can be something that is above ground, right? Very much like the tomb that Joseph of Arimathea had prepared. So the answer to the question, why does the gospel say that Jesus was buried? Well, when you look at the meaning of the word bury, it is not limited to placing in the earth and covering with earth. It also includes the meaning of placing in a tomb where you're not, there's no earth placed on top of you, you're just sealed in the tomb. So that's why the Scriptures say that Jesus Christ was buried.